Your dream is to become a mom. My dream is to help you get there. I'm Rebecca Gruenspan, a single mom through domestic adoption and an adoption consultant for over a decade. I'll be your guide, along with other adoption professionals and members of the adoption constellation, walking you step by step down this beautiful and complex path of adopting your baby. When I was going through the adoption process, I had no idea what I was doing, what I needed to know, or more importantly, who to trust. Well, after helping hundreds and hundreds of families grow through the beauty and complexity of adoption, I've learned more than a thing or two, and let me tell you, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. This isn't just another podcast sharing adoption stories, but it's for you if you're genuinely committed to diving in with an open heart, eager to learn everything there is to know about adopting a baby so that you can show up for yourself and your child in the best way possible. This podcast is for you if you're ready to put your newfound knowledge into action. Adoption isn't for the weak of heart, and it certainly isn't done when your baby gets placed in your arms. If that's what you think, I'm afraid you're living in la la land. My promise to you is to keep it real if you promise to keep digging. We'll acknowledge the hard, and we'll also celebrate the joy that is adoption. You ready? Let's do this. Good morning. Nothing to drink, no coffee, no water. Slept late because it's still spring break. I want you to know what's really going on here. For those of you who think I got my shit together, I mostly do. But I got a pile here of unopened mail from probably the last month. Probably bills to be paid. Maybe some past due. Hopefully not. I'll fight them. I am woman. Hear me roar. I will fight them. I was awoken this morning by such a great text from a client saying, I am on my way. I'm traveling. I'm about to get on a plane to go meet what we hope will be our baby. We matched. And what should we write in a letter to the mama? The mama, tradition. I have a whole TV show playing in my mind now where that just cut to another scene and then it comes back to me. So we have our clients, or we suggest that it's a really nice thing to do to write a letter to the birth mom as you are sitting in all of your feels. And it's not to be given to her until after she signs, but just about what this moment means to you, how you're feeling about her, how you're feeling about becoming a mom to her baby, the weight of that, what your promises are to her in your family, and what your promises are to your baby. And so she was asking me about that. And I just said, it just needs to come from the heart. It needs to be vulnerable. Just write to her what you are feeling in this moment, because it's a big moment for everybody involved, for all three sides. It's a big moment. So write about what the weight of that means to you. So there's that. Had my photo shoot last week and it went really well. It was a lot of fun. And it was with a new photographer that I've never worked with, that I literally just went online, found a photographer and liked her website and said, okay, this is the one. I'm trying to make things easy. My son is going to be having his bar mitzvah in September, going to become a bar mitzvah, and that's a whole family thing. And so we're in the midst of planning for that. And yesterday we went to a Mexican restaurant, to a guy the owner of the restaurant is going to cater the whole thing. So it's going to be a Mexican fiesta meets baseball to kind of represent all of who he is. And I'm really excited because my hope is his entire birth family and siblings will be coming in. So that will be really, really special. And I just want to talk about that a little bit. I was on an event, the On Your Feet Foundation sponsored. They are a wonderful organization in Evanston, Illinois, where I used to live, and they support birth moms in, I don't know if it's just post-adoption or anywhere they are in their journey, probably anywhere they are. But they had Gretchen Sisson speak. She is an author, a researcher, and she just released her book, Relinquished. I have not read it yet. I will. I'm sure some agencies are up in arms about it. Gretchen interviewed 8,000 birth moms about their experience having relinquished their babies. I think it was between 2010 and 2020. I think she interviewed in 2010 and then 10 years later interviewed again to see what their feelings were. They were pretty much all struggling. Very, very few were not. One of the things she said is that one of the struggles was that they saw their children struggling with their identity. Another one was that they are struggling to see how the parents that they chose are raising their child. That may be very different from what their hope and dream was for them. And some of their thoughts were, and I thought this was really profound, is what is the point of my grief and separation from my child if I'm watching my child struggle too? That's really, just think about that. Before we go on, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. We still have so much to talk about. The Adoption Roadmap podcast is sponsored by the Adoption Roadmap Academy, the only online program of its kind for hopeful adoptive parents like you who want step-by-step guidance, preparing for your home study, creating a compelling adoption profile book, choosing the right agencies, and more so that you can bring your baby home sooner. As an adoption consultant and adoptive mom who's been where you are, I'm going to guide you step-by-step through everything you need to know about the domestic infant adoption journey from home study to finalization. And the great part is you get to do it at your own pace with a supportive community behind you. The Adoption Roadmap Academy is a step-by-step guide to domestic infant adoption for hopeful individuals and families who are sick and tired of waiting forever. It's the first and only self-paced adoption consultant-led program that shows you exactly how to navigate the domestic adoption process from home study to finalization. With our proven 4-step adoption roadmap model, you're going to be able to save time you can't make up, hours and weeks and even months of tedious legwork and research are done for you. You're going to be able to go at your own pace. No matter what else is going on in life, nobody's going to be breathing down your throat. You are going to be able to gain and keep momentum because everything is going to be spoon-fed for you in exactly the way you need. You are going to possibly even save money by knowing how to vet situations and working with the right agencies. It could save you a lot of heartache. You are going to be able to access this course anytime, anywhere, and get expert guidance and support, not only by me, but also by an amazing community who know exactly what you are walking through. Here's what you can expect inside. You'll be getting streaming videos, worksheets, bonus resources, an adoption profile creation, agency contacts, live streams to connect with other people, and unending education, all using our 4-step proprietary adoption roadmap model. Plus, you'll be receiving a bonus mindset step that I highly recommend for everyone. So if you're interested in starting your adoption journey and ready to fast forward and simplify your domestic adoption process, please email the word academy to support@rgadoptionconsulting.com today, and we'll get you started. One of the problems was that the openness that they thought that they were going to have didn't happen or wasn't followed through with. So as I am, and openness takes time, I think, on all ends, right? It's a relationship and you are building this relationship. And I think when I started, I had some fears and I knew how important it was to my child, for the birth mom, for me too. That wasn't as important to me as what I was doing for my child. And in turn, it became, what am I doing for my family, for me, for them who are an extension of my family, which I very much feel right now. Now, I also understand that every person is different. Every situation is different. So it's hard to say when you don't know what you are stepping into. I have a beautiful relationship with our whole extended family, meaning my son's biological family, his first family. That took time. It took effort. It took losing each other for a while and finding each other again, which also helped in the growth of the openness. It actually made I think both of our hearts burst a little bit more when we found each other again and how happy we were for that. And after that, we've never left each other and it's only grown. We had our first visit. Now, visits weren't a thing that was asked of as much as it is now. Oftentimes we see right from the bat that yearly visits are requested. And I have different feelings about that too, about yearly visits right from the get-go when you don't know each other and as you're building the relationship, depending on the relationship. Again, I think every situation is so different, and I can understand where a hopeful family is coming from when they're nervous to promise that from day one. They have no idea who this other person is, and the other person doesn't know who they are yet. They have no relationship built. I think that it needs to start with an intent, and there needs to be some boundaries and parameters around that. I actually haven't really thought about that until now. When I speak, I don't know what's going to pop into my brain, but open adoption on so many levels. And in all the meanings of what open adoption looks like, I think is so important. I mean, it's been proven how important it is for everybody involved, but especially for the child. And you have to have your child in mind. And it's that beginning piece before that relationship is built. So our relationship built, we have done visits with both sides of families. It's not always easy. It's far, it's expensive. We talk all the time. We do FaceTimes. We say, I love you. We call each other mom, dad, sister, brother. Did that happen on day one? No, it didn't. Did visits happen on day one? No, it didn't. And again, that wasn't a thing when I adopted, but we grew into that organically and beautifully, and our relationship has grown as relationships do. And I think that's so important. So anyways, back to why I even brought this up is that I'm really looking forward to my son's bar mitzvah in September, where our entire family will come together in this beautiful moment. And they've never seen a bar mitzvah or really know what it is. And I'm excited to bring them into that fold. So there's that. Let's see, what else did she say? We're talking about Gretchen Sisson's Relinquished book. Talked about how adoptees often have complicated feelings around adoption. Oh, this was interesting. She talked about a specific woman that she mentions in her book. She calls her Alyssa. Alyssa is Latina. She was adopted by a white family, and then in turn placed her child for adoption. She said there were a high percentage of adoptees who who relinquished. Anyways, so Alyssa is Latina. She was raised by white parents. She really didn't know what it meant to be Hispanic. And when she went to place her baby, she knew she didn't want her baby placed with a white family. She placed her not with a Hispanic family, with an Asian family, I think it was. And she thought to herself, I would love my child to know about her Latin roots, but I don't even know what that looks like. So all I know is I don't want her raised by white family. But anyways, I thought it was interesting because she herself would have liked that, didn't get that for herself, and didn't even know what that would look like for her child. And so really just struggled around that whole identity piece of, I was raised in a good family. I really missed this piece of myself. I wish I didn't feel so much like I wanted to look like my family did, because I felt so out of place because she didn't have white skin like her family. And I know I don't want that for my child, but I don't know what it would look like for my child to be placed in a family of her heritage. So there was complicated identity twofold. Anyways, hopefully you can get the point. She also said that abortion patients, like women who go to get an abortion, have very little interest in adoption. If they don't abort, most parent. So that has been a question with this whole reversal of Roe v. Wade. Will that spike the adoption rate? And in some places in the country, they have seen a little growth, but maybe this answers that question, that no, because people going for an abortion are not interested in adoption. They're either going to abort, or if they can't abort, they'll figure out how to parent. And 98% of women who abort don't have regrets about it, but every single woman, beside a very few out of the 8,000 that she talked to, regretted placing. That's hard to hear. That's hard to hear. The mothers who regretted not being able to get an abortion are the ones who relinquished. It was hard to hear. There were very, very hard truths about adoption that as a parent, it's like, okay, what can we do better? And for me, I think one of the things we can do better, and for me and for agencies who are facilitating matches, is to really make sure it's the right match for the child and not just the parent, and not just having a birth mom choose a family, but really talking to her about, okay, why are you choosing this family? Is this the right family for your child? She did say good intentions have always been at the root of adoptions, which I believe. There are some good players and some not so good players out there, and most everybody have really good intentions around their work. Anyways, I highly recommend getting this book, going to hear her speak. Gretchen Sisson, who wrote the book Relinquished. So those are my thoughts. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. If you'd like to be featured on my podcast, let me know why. Reach out to me. You know how. You can figure that out. I'd love to hear from you. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. If you did, I have a few favors to ask of you. First, please hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I'd love to hear your takeaways. Please write a review and let me know what you liked. And if you have a question or a suggestion on what you'd like to hear, I'd love to hear that too. Please shoot me an email at support@rgadoptionconsulting.com and let me know what you'd like to hear about. And if you have a question, I may just answer it online. Thanks again for listening. Tune in every Wednesday and Friday morning for a brand new episode of the Adoption Roadmap podcast. Until next time, bye-bye.